When I was young, I had a thought. Just one. Okay. One of the most prevailing, one of the most common thoughts I had when I was young is that there was nobody alive or had ever lived that wanted more to die than me. And that there was nobody that was alive or had ever lived that was more afraid of dying than me. So I was sort of trapped. Didn't want to live, terrified of dying. I mean, absolutely horrified of the idea. And the reason is simple. I was convinced in my heart and mind that I was hated. Absolutely convinced. You see, when I was young, I liked guys the way guys are supposed to like girls, and the way most guys like girls, but I like guys. And I was certain that I was hated because of this. You know, one of those, if you don't know me, maybe you're okay with me, but if you knew me, you would hate me. And if you know me, you hate me. And I was convinced God hated me. I mean, seriously convinced God hated me. And so I spent, I really would say decades, I guess, angry, bitter, filled with hatred and rage and all that. I mean, you don't hear phrases like, they should take all the queers in the world and line them up in a row and shoot them. You don't hear things like that and then think, yeah, it's all right, no biggie. You know what people think of you. And it hurts, obviously. And I did. I spent so long hurt. Seems like I cried for decades on end. You know? But you know, I have finally, and I'm a slow study, so it took a bit. I have finally figured out that it took all of that for me to be the person I am now. For me to get to where I am now required, 100% required me to go through the things that I went through. If I had had easy life, you know, no pain, no struggles, no whatever, which is of course what we want, and we think if God loved us, that's exactly what He'd give us, is everything we ask for and no pain and, you know, and all that. But you know, God's smarter than me by a considerable amount. It took all of that to get me to where I am now. You see, if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't have this drive, this desperate need to please God. I would just, you know, maybe I'd go to church, maybe I wouldn't, you know, whatever, pay lip service to it, you know, go to the picnics or the dinners or whatever, you know, for the food. You know, shake hands, yeah, I love you, and it mean nothing, which is how it is too much of the time. Maybe not all the time, certainly not all the time, I know that. But it sometimes seems a little superficial, you know, and all that. Like you're just going through the motions, like you don't really feel it, like you just say it to say it. Love you, love you, love you, love you. But anyway, that's who I would have been had I not had the pain and the heartache and the depression and the whatever. I would have just sailed on, just. So it took that. I know it took all of that for me to be the person I am now. And I'm nothing. Please understand. I'm not saying there's anything special about me. I'm recording these videos. They've gotten a few views. A few. I mean, yeah, I'd love it if they had millions of views. I don't expect that'll ever happen. I know I'll never make money at this. That's fine. I have a job. And I make almost enough money to, pay for the gas that it takes to get back and forth to the job. But anyway, but I know to be the person I am, the person I think God wanted me to be all along, the person I know now that I want to be, someone who's speaking the truth, a person who, I don't know if you'd call what I do preaching the gospel, but telling the gospel. It took all that for me to be where I am now. And I know that. I don't think I'd be who I am had I not. And so is my past something I'm proud of? Well, no. But I'm certainly not ashamed. It is what it is. And it got me to where I am. And so for that, I thank God. That He knew long before I knew, before the creation of the earth, that He knew that I would be able to move from a state of near constant anger and all that to where I am now, that He knew that all along. So whether it was just coincidence, nature, fate, whatever, that gave me the past that I had, or if it was by design. Either way, however that worked, it worked for my good. And I thank God for it. In fact, it was Paul, I think. Definitely have to look this one up. Who said, I count it all joy. And I do. And I never, ever, ever thought I would ever feel this way. That I would ever be able to say, not only is it all good, but I praise God for it. Because I wouldn't be doing any of this if I hadn't gone through that. I count it all joy. I'm so thankful. I have trouble putting it in words. Sure, I wish the road had been a little smoother. Sure, I wish I hadn't been so stubborn, pig-headed, and ignorant that it took this long. No one said I was a fast study. But it took exactly what it took. And God knew that all along. And so, for those that they say they don't believe in God because life isn't perfect. If my life had been perfect, I wouldn't be here now standing and talking to you like this. So whether we want to believe it or not, whether or not we're capable of understanding it in our lives, God knows what's best. And sometimes it hurts, sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching, whatever. But wow, when you finally get to that point where you can count it all joy, wow, it's totally different way of seeing things, totally different way of feeling, and it's remarkable. And I thank God for it.